Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for dialing in for this webinar. We've got well over 300 people. So on this call, we've got all the field sellers, sales support teams, the telepointers, and some inside staff. I hope you're all keeping well and safe and had a great weekend in the sun. Obviously, many of you are still on furlough, so I do appreciate you taking the time to dial in here. It looks like the country's through the worst. It seems that the government is now putting plans in place to perhaps start to ease the country back. Quite possibly, there could be some lift in the restrictions towards the end of the month. I don't know, that's just me guessing. But you're probably all wondering what this webinar is all about. Now, as you know, the strategy of Payment Sense now is to go on the attack from the 1st of June. If you're on George and Jan's call the other week, you would have heard them talk about applying the F1 theory. In other words, they hit the brakes hard coming into the corner, and they put all the defensive measures in place. But now, as we come out of the corner, they want to accelerate out and basically overtake everyone else. Therefore, to go on the attack, we brought forward the launch of SuperPay to the 1st of June. And that's all going very well. We're still on track for the 1st of June launch. However, as you know, today is a very different world that we live in. Business owners have just come through a very turbulent time, particularly those that have been closed for the last 2 months. And when they reopen, the first thing that's going to be on their mind is, how do I get my business back on its feet? And the very last thing on their mind is going to be changing their chip and PIN provider. So even with the launch of SuperPay, it's very unlikely that we would get the full takeoff effect if we simply just went back to market with leading by SuperPay alone. So over the past few weeks, we've been doing a lot of research with merchants in determining what's important to the business owner right now. And chip and PIN just wasn't one of them. Excuse me. Now, Jonathan will take you through what that research showed in a minute. But as I said, the world is in a very different place right now. And the emotion in the air with business owners is going to be very raw. So what we want to do is to come up with a package or an offer that can tap into this emotion. We want to be that company that simply just walks into a business and just trying to sell them another product. I mean, we want to help them. We want to provide a solution to all their worries that are on the forefront of their mind right now. And 3 worries that business owners would have right now that we want to help them resolve is cash flow assistance. Now, I know the government is providing this, but it's very slow right now. We want to help businesses perhaps launch a new service where they can potentially reach new customers, e-commerce, buyback. Many businesses are looking now at other ways in which they can sell their products, because consumers' behaviors will change when we reopen up. And then the last one is saving costs around their business, and then that's obviously where the chip and PIN can come in. So rather than taking the hardline sales approach angle to customers in regards to chip and PIN, we're going to launch a more consultative approach that is based around them getting their business back on its feet. Therefore, we're going to launch a campaign called Back to Business. Now, the aim of this campaign is to give us an angle in to get speaking to business owners about all their pain points right now, not just chip and PIN. I mean, the approach is going to be all about how can we help you get your business back on its feet? and go on the attack. So back to business, this is going to consist of a full range of services that will address all of their pain points right now. It'd be almost like a full business rescue package. Now our wizards in marketing are putting together some really cool marketing materials around the slogan "Back to Business." It's going to look fantastic. Now, if you were to cold call a business right now and you say you're calling with them to speak about their chip and pin machine, I mean, more than likely you're going to be sent packing. Whereas if you cold called a business now to say that Payment Sense has launched a campaign called Back to Business, and this is like a business rescue package and has a range of services that will help them get their business back on its feet, they're going to be much more willing, I would say, to take that appointment. So what we're doing in this webinar here is it's just an introduction to this campaign at this stage. I mean, this session is just a teaser. It's just keeping you in the loop and letting you know what direction we're going with things whenever things open up. So this campaign is directed obviously towards business owners. However, we will also be launching a big sales campaign for the sellers as well, because you're coming back to business as well. So that'll be a 2-month competition, sort of with a fantastic prize that the winners will enjoy, trust me. I'm not going to reveal that right now. That will come in the next couple of weeks or so. But Sheila has sent you all invites to training sessions every week this month. I mean, we're now starting to gear things up, and we want to use this month by getting all of you guys in shape for the rollout. So Sheila, as I said, sent those invites out to you, the training sessions each week. And as I said, this month, it's going to be all about getting trained for the campaign and SuperPay. It is compulsory that you attend these training sessions. Otherwise, you'll not be certified to sell this campaign or SuperPay. So you're going to get a lot more information on this and the product throughout this month. So roll on the 1st of June. This is going to be massive. I'm super excited. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass you over to Jonathan, who's now going to take you through some of the research and the other things. But before I do, if you have any questions throughout this webinar, pop them into the bottom and we will address them at the end. Okay, thanks guys. Over to you, Jonathan.
Thanks, Stephen. Morning, everyone. I'm John. I wouldn't have met all of you, but I run our research program here at Payment Sense. So as Steve said, I've spent lots of the last 18 months interviewing lots of customers, grabbing whatever data we have on business owners, the market, to give us the best chance of doing the right thing for businesses and for you guys to be able to sell our products. So I'll take you through, first of all, as we mentioned, this is an introductory session. I'll take you through, first of all, some of the key insights that we've been gathering over the last year or so, which has led us to building the products we're building. And lots of those you'll see in this Back to Business campaign. So I'll give you an introduction to that, and then our best view on what we think the current and then short to medium term future outlook is for business owners to help you get this off the ground from June the 1st. So first of all, this question here, what was important to a business owner? So I'll take you through a couple of bits that detail what we know is important to business owners. As Steve said, the priorities have changed in the short term. They don't go away. So the things I'm showing are very relevant in terms of what is typically important to a business owner when choosing a machine, when choosing a provider. But then we'll move on to the bit in terms of the current situation and what those immediate priorities are, and they're slightly different. So we've been asking lots of business owners this the question of what's most important to you when considering a new payment provider. So what would make you switch? What are the key things you're looking for in a new provider? You'll see the list on the right-hand side, and it's ranked in importance. So primarily, as the comment says on the left, security is the top consideration. So that's, we're dealing with money, we're dealing with card data. Business owners are very paranoid about getting any of that wrong. So either fraudulent transactions or issues with not keeping their customers' data secure. So security is front of mind usually. The other bits you'll see in there in terms of that list, I'd summarize them into 2 key things. Number 1 is speed, so speed of transfer, speed of settlement, getting money into their bank quickly after a transaction. And then flexibility in terms of, say, the rolling contracts. So they're the primary things. The the list towards the bottom, so contract buyout and simple sign up, doesn't mean they're not important. And we know how important they are for salespeople to be able to sell our product and buy someone out of an existing contract or get them signed up quickly. So it's not that they're not important. It's when we ask business owners, what do they first look for? They look for the stuff towards the top of the list. The other things are enablers for us to sell more. Next, in terms of a recap, is what do business owners want most from their card machine? So we asked this question, the question you can see on the right-hand side, what one thing do you wish your card machine can do that it can't do today? We asked that to over 1,000 business owners, and they could tell us in their own words what they would like that they haven't currently got. So we didn't give them a fixed list of options to potentially bias the results. They said whatever they wanted, and then we coded up each answer separately. And the real key thing from this, as you see on the comment on the left-hand side, is better connectivity was the most important thing that they want from their card machine. So lots and lots of examples. I'm sure you've seen them by being out there with business owners of Wi-Fi dropping out or reception being poor or not being fast enough. So number one, improved connectivity. You'll see the others on the list are mostly what I describe as a basic requirement. So the security comes up really strongly again. Just being able to accept all types of cards and contactless and mobile payments, the speed of transactions, and then a longer battery life for those that have a portable machine. So they're pretty fundamental. Those 5 things accounted for 68% of all the responses. So if you walk into a typical business owner that has a card machine, the chances are one of those 5 things will be something that you can play on in terms of getting our product sold more. And when we talk about what's coming with the Back to Business project and the SuperPay launch, you'll see that what we're offering allows us to hit many of those things. Thirdly, to give you our best view on the current market landscape in terms of which providers are big and otherwise in the market today. The chart on the right-hand side is market share grouped by various different providers. And each size of the box represents the size of the market share based on the number of merchants. So a couple of things stand out to me here. First of all is how strong we are as our own entity and bigger than that disruptor sector on their own. So when you group up Square and iZettle and SumUp that are getting a lot of noise at the moment, we're very sizable relative to them. The second piece, and one of the most important things clearly for a business owner, is to have a great experience. We've gone out to over 20,000 businesses to ask how happy they are with each of these providers. We group those responses into what's known as a Net Promoter Score. So the higher the score, the more happy customers are, pretty much. The score can be from -100 if everyone is very unhappy to +100 if everyone is absolutely delighted. When I put those Net Promoter Scores over each of those buckets of card providers, you can see that we're doing okay with our current product. We're about in line with the market average, about in line with a WorldPay or a Barclaycard. We're doing better than some of the smaller players that we know lots about, so RMS, HandyPay, that kind of thing. But we're not, with our current product, able to match the satisfaction that disruptor sector is seeing with Square, iZettle, and SumUp. So we've got the scale. We've got an opportunity now through what we're building this year and beyond to really, first of all, reach and then exceed that experience that disruptors are giving. And lots of what we're building and what you would have seen about from George and Jan already is designed to try and do exactly that. So to try and strip out known pain points and have a product that is market leading. So if that's where we are currently, the next question we've been asking ourselves and gone out to many customers and business owners is what is important for a business owner going forward. So what do we think are the key things? How things going to change with the COVID crisis and then coming out of that crisis over the coming months? The first thing, and Steve alluded to it, the access to cash being one of the key things. So getting businesses up on their feet will be the major concern. There's lots and lots of empirical evidence for this. I describe it in 2 bits. So number one, we know that in any economic downturn, the clearest example being the last recession in 2008 and 2009, almost every SME coming out of that last recession would describe, or they did describe, cash flow as being a barrier to growing their business once they come out of it. So access to working capital is absolutely crucial. And we're seeing that exactly, the stat on the right-hand side, we're seeing that today where we've got 4 out of 10 SMEs only have more than 3 months cash. So most SMEs have not that much cash in reserve, and 1 in 3 are already having day-to-day cash flow issues. And this study was done about 10 days or so ago, so that figure will slowly rise. So this is the key thing, and this is why, as Steve said, just being able to get a chip and pin machine may not be completely front of mind. Access to working capital right now certainly is. The second thing that we know from lots of evidence is that consumer behaviour will not return to normal. We've started to see even the government talking about an idea of a new normal and maybe sustained period of things not being as they were before the pandemic. So what this means for us, so consumer behaviour is not normal. What this means is that businesses will value our guidance on how to adapt. So the businesses that have been successful have been able to adapt. The reason why they need to adapt is the stats that I've just brought up on the left there. So lots of businesses are going to be hit by the fact that people will be more cautious in their spending, particularly out of home, which means hospitality, restaurants, entertainment. Those kind of sectors do poorly when the economic outlook is not so strong. It happened to our sector, our hospitality sector, if you look post versus pre-recession. And even if you take a McKinsey study, they've looked at China and how China's come out of lockdown, but the decline in restaurant sales that was seen during the lockdown hasn't been offset by the recovery since. There's been a bit of a bounce back, but not enough to offset that decline. So we think consumer behaviour will continue to be cautious, and it will hit that traditional dine-in, drink-in, eat-in sector. But there's a bit of hope there as well for business owners, so especially in our sector. So that idea of localization, there'll be the evidence suggests there'll be more companies slightly less favouring a global supply chain and more looking for local produce, local solutions. And then you've got the consumer that are more likely than ever to shop local. So what this current crisis has done has meant that businesses or consumers can no longer, they haven't been able to visit a McDonald's, a Primark, etc. In fact, the stat not on the chart, but only 34% of those top businesses, the biggest businesses, have been open at this time. So more local people, or more people have been able to discover local solutions. And that the stat you can see, 83% of them will now shop local or are more willing to. Means there's a real opportunity for business owners, if they can get it right, to capitalize on people looking to support local businesses. And lastly, the bottom right comment, we've asked lots of our customers and used all the great examples that you guys as the sales teams and related services have given us, that you've heard from businesses that have changed what they do to adapt to the current situations. We've seen 5 ways in which that's happening and having lots of success that I'll take you through now. So the 5 ways you can see on the left-hand side. So the first way, and Steve alluded it to in his intro earlier, reaching customers in new ways. So that's Bite Back for us. It's local delivery. It's takeaway for the first time. It's click and collect. It's all those things where you can't have people in your premises, but you can still get your products and services out to them. So there's lots of examples of that happening, both in hospitality and then in sort of high street examples of retail, etc. Secondly, lots of examples of businesses changing what they sell, so changing the products. So there's restaurants that are selling the ingredients. There's bars that are selling cocktails in big bottles. There's wine being sold in cases, not bottles. Equally, corner shops selling all sorts of stuff that wouldn't normally get involved in, say, groceries, but are selling yeast for bread, for example. Number 3, and feel free, these examples are hopefully what you can play on when you're talking to business owners. There's some that have completely changed what they do. So there's restaurants that have gone from being a full service restaurant to being a pizza or bread takeaway. There's pop-up fruit and veg stalls opening up all over the place as well, where there used to be a pub, but now they're serving the community in different ways. Some have been able to sell content or expertise, the 4th one. That's for more likely in the high street example, where you have a salon that doesn't work, can't open, for example, but there's various tutorials, master classes, online cookbooks. You see the examples there. They're all real businesses that have done something and had success from doing so. And we're building a big bank of these to be able to share, so that you can give a really nice case study or some suggestions to business owners on how they can get through what will be a very different time for them. And lastly, I've called this one occasion-based solutions. It's effectively selling the experience. So I think one made the press, the pub in the box idea, where you could buy everything from a pint glass to a beer mat to a pork scratchings in a box. There's DIY brunches, Sunday roast, carveries, everything like that, where they're trying to replicate that in-store experience, but at home. Likewise, in the salon sector, selling home facial kits or products that you can use at home rather than need to go to a salon have been popular as well. So these are the best examples, and we've got loads of them, of businesses changing what they do. And that's exactly what I think we can position to business owners when you start to get out there. If you can adapt, it gives you the most chance of success in what will be very changed circumstances. Okay, Hugo, I'm just going to try and pass the reins over to you, and Hugo will take you through a bit more detail of this Back to Business campaign.
Okay, I think I'm in. Let's see. Yes, I'm in. Just going back. Thank you, John. Thank you, Steve. Hi, good morning, guys. Have many sellers here. Just to reinforce the message, the opening message from Steve, and going along with John's words. So this is the first meeting or the first presentation or the first webinar where we want to show you what we are working on, and because we have a bit of time, 1 month until we go to market, hopefully, if everything goes to schedule, depending on the government restrictions, in the beginning of June. This will show you the work that has been done and the work that is being done, and to give you just a flavor of what we are putting together. So this combines a lot of work streams, from marketing, from sales, from learning and development, from product, from tech, from research, from customer experience. And John and Steve guide you through a bit of everything collated, and everything will merge up into this Back to Business campaign. And just to reinforce that, when we launch the new product in June, this will be under the Payment Sense brand, not under the amazing Dojo brand that hopefully you saw the presentation from Guy last week or the week before. So we have here an interim period from June, hopefully, up to September, where we have a new product and we have a new offering, but at the same time, we are still operating under Payment Sense. And all of the work that has been done to create the most competitive product up to the market, with the research that John led, and working with our UX and product teams to put everything in place, everything will combine, with the exception of the brand, to this 1st of June date. And this is a really exciting time. So today's, what I'm going to show you here is just a teaser, right? So it's not exhaustive. And now that we have proven to you, for example, in the last few months, and the amazing results that you guys achieved with 1 million LTR in such a difficult circumstances, what we did during these last 2 months with the Bite Back, with the Moto, with the e-com, with the business funding, and all the tools that we quickly turn around. Now that we have these amazing new products, SuperPay, and new offering, at the same time, we have all these whole months to prepare and work with you, will smash the market. And what we want you to take from this session, this is just the starting of a journey up to the 1st of June, where you have everything ready to go there and smash it in a very difficult circumstance, right? Because as Steve mentioned, businesses are not looking to improve, right? They are not just looking, oh, my chip and pin machine was too slow, I wanted a slightly faster one. There are bigger concerns that businesses will face when they start opening. And how do you overcome an offering that was built to add value to businesses with something that, with other variables that businesses have on top of their mind for that moment? So for example, as John showed and Steve mentioned, they are looking at cash flow. They are looking for products and services that can get them trading again as they were hopefully trading before. Or how can they adapt to a new trading environment if the trends we are seeing in different countries and in different regions are applicable to what is going to happen in the UK, and most likely they are, as John is showing us. We need to be ready to go to businesses and support them in a complete different way. And that different way is to go not with a hardcore selling where we try to just put the chip and pin machine, but we have a story and we support them with a whole story and a full business rescue package. And this business rescue package contains different types of tools, products, and services that will help them get up to their feet again. And even when you have a particular offering that is not necessarily to sell the chip and pin, that will be our ultimate goal, is to sell chip and pin, and we all know that. But we will give you a consultative approach in order to open the door and for businesses to rely on you as a consultant, not necessarily as a pure salesperson just interested in selling a product or a service. And the story we are putting together, the Back to Business, will give you all these tools. Some of the things that we are going to show you in a couple of minutes are just a summary of what we are offering. And we are building during this month the whole range that will enable you to have the right conversation to every single possible business. And that combined with 2 or 3 new types of support that we are building together. So we covered the amazing product and all the services that we attach to it. So John showed, for example, examples of how businesses are adapting. If we create a pack where we go to businesses and we show them how other businesses are doing and how other businesses are flipping their business model in order to adapt to these circumstances, you'll be seen as a thought leader in your industry, and hopefully will lead your conversation up to selling chip and pin machine. But that said, and just conscious of time, the business rescue package, and to be more pragmatic, the focus, as I mentioned, the conversation should be to give businesses freedom and to give businesses the ability to cope and to understand that they have a business partner with Payment Sense. So if we are so confident like we are that our product and our offering is so strong, we'll give them rolling contract with no termination fees. So 1 month rolling contract as a standard, and they will believe that we are there to support them. And if these circumstances happen again, hopefully it will not, they will have freedom to leave us at any moment in time. And if you combine that with a contract buyout, what's the problem? Why shouldn't they come to Payment Sense? If we buy their current payments provider that is overcharging them, that they are not happy with, they don't have flexibility to leave, they are not adapting to the current environments. If we buy their current contract and at the same time we allow them with a 1 month rolling contract, why shouldn't they come to us? But the point being that what we want to give them is a product that also allows them in all the work streams and all the challenges they have, for example, cash flow. And that combines with the next day or even same day transfers that we are going to allow. Next day for standard, for free, and same day still being worked out, but hopefully we'll be ready to launch it in June. And if you combine that powerful tool of the same day transfers, even next day transfers, with the business funding, you allow them to tackle one of the most important challenges they will have when they start trading again, that is cash flow. And we'll have a full pack to support you guys on that. Then with the free online transformation kit, and with this kit is Biteback on steroids. So most of you guys, we worked with you a lot in terms of how Biteback supported you having the right conversations and opening doors in a consultative approach. So it was a really good test. But if we put Biteback on steroids, this is what we are working on. If you can go to a business and not only take Biteback or an online ordering system for free that we can do for them, but you also point them in the right direction up to a whole range of different partners. So for example, if they want to have pictures of their dishes and we point them to a company that will give them 50 or 60% discount for photography for their dishes, or if they want to move to social media online and we give them 150 quid Google voucher to go advertising on social media. If we equip them with all these tools given by a whole range of new partners, from packaging to printing to whatever we can think of. They will feel that by being with Payment Sense, they will get everything that no one can provide anywhere else. And that will lead naturally to the next generation card machines. And that will lead necessarily to, okay, what can you offer me in terms of your core product? And our core product is, of course, what we want to sell, that is chip and pin services and card machines if we wanted. I'm not going to detail here. We will have plenty of time. Sheila, in the end of this webinar, will guide you through the calendar. You should have received already most of the invites for the whole month, where we're going to tackle each of these points. But I just wanted to show you how slick, and we are so proud with these new chip and pin machines, and namely the A920 that we are seeing here in the screen, and all the main functionalities that we are going to promote and will be included in the pack. As Steve mentioned, we are creating a whole range of tools, marketing tools for you to promote the campaign and promote the product. The campaign will give you the context and the story, and then when you dig deeper into the conversations with your prospects, hopefully to become customers, you'll have all the right tools, from printed flyers, digital flyers, pitch email templates, social media kits, everything that you can need to smash the market, even in a very difficult circumstance. And when we hear George and Jan and Steve mentioning getting and going around the curve, this is what we are doing now. We are preparing to go to the market, hopefully in the beginning of June, and smash it even in the most difficult trading conditions. And if we can help businesses go through this new proposition, your businesses will thrive as well. So bear with us during this month. Hopefully you'll be able to attend all the sessions, the live ones or recorded in the Academy. And please bear in mind that we are still Payment Sense at least until September. So keep Dojo for yourself, keep that in your sleeve. Even the product offering for September will be improved from what we're seeing here and what we are going to have ready in June. But this is market smashing, as John will talk you a bit here in this slide.
Yeah, hi guys, hello again. Yeah, as Hugo said, market smashing. So this list of features has been borne out in the research that I talked about earlier in terms of what we know is important for business owners. Some of it, so this is our best view to try and give a sense on how we compare to competitors. The main message you'll get from this is lots of our competitors do some of what we're offering, but there's no one out there with such an all-rounded solution. So this is what we're hoping SuperPay will turn into. As Hugo mentioned, not everything's going to be ready immediately, but if you go down that list, there's a huge amount of benefits we can offer business owners that not many of the other competitors can. A couple of quick points on this. So the transparent pricing, again, it's slightly subjective how we score that. We've given it almost everything. The one bit that if you're a business owner, you can go and find on an iZettle website or a Square website is one price where it's folded in the rates, the terminal pricing, all the extra bits. Whereas with us, clearly we're still able to offer bespoke rates to suit different businesses. So as a business owner, you couldn't get the one price from us immediately, but we're very clear in terms of what we're charging for with the new product. So all of these, as you see, look excellent. You've got the disruptors that we know that are giving customers an overall higher average satisfaction, and they're doing that through being able to offer some of the things there, such as a rolling contract, the simple price point, not necessarily the cheap price point, but a simple price point. They can do some of the stuff in terms of getting people signed up quickly or delivering some reporting via an app, but they can't do what we've got in terms of some of the other benefits you see there. So buying out of contracts, the P2P solution that we're building, we think will be market leading. Likewise, the assistance on the terminal, not many of the other providers are capable of doing something like that as well. So we're really excited about what SuperPay is going to bring, and this is a nice summary of where we think we stand versus competitors.
Just a quick one that most of you guys are going to ask this, and you're already asking. Some of you saw this slide. Is that when we mark SuperPay column all in pink or almost all full circles, this is the standard offering, right? What we are putting here is that what is going to be our standard offer compared with the standard offer of our competitors. So don't take this as a mantra, as all in, because some of these providers also offer some of these items, but as a standard from day one, from June, we are going to be able to offer this. Probably there are one or two items here, like instant settlement, that we are still working on, and it will depend. But also what you need to be able to know is that we are going to be the best from day one. Even if the best is not the best we want, and we know that we have a journey to go through, is day one of us being the best. And with all the tools and all the support you're getting during this next month, you can go with the confidence that your business will going to thrive, and you will help other businesses going to thrive and smash the market, as we cannot stop saying, because that's our main goal. Sheila, up to you to talk a bit about the scheduled training and the bits and bobs.
Thank you, Hugo. Yeah, so everyone, this is we've aptly named this series Back to Business for you guys as well. I think Steve mentioned that at the beginning. But basically what we want to do is spend the month of May training all of our sales teams and all of our sales support teams as well. So any team that works with sales to support them. And so that's why we've got quite a large audience today, which is great to see. So the month, what we've done is we scoped out what is it that you guys need to learn in order to be able to launch in June with it. And then how do we break it down into bite-sized chunks? So we've kind of done little and often is the approach we've gone for. And that's so that you have time to kind of digest the information, learn what it is, and then move on to the next topic. There's a few questions that I've already seen in the chat box around commissions and how does pay work, and of course that's going to be the first question, but you'll find that out towards the end of the month. So this is the process for all the dates for the next few sessions. The next session will be on Wednesday. That will be led by Kieran, which is around consultative sales. So we know our customer first insights now. How do we actually take that information and start to identify the customer needs as well? Every session will start at 10:30 in the morning. So it's Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. Anytime there's bank holidays, it's just moved to the next date, but you can see all the dates on here. And as the guys said, it's already been put into your calendars as well. So if you check your calendars, you'll see all sessions are on there. There is a stipulation that everyone completes these sessions. It doesn't have to be a live session. So if for any reason you can't make the live, we would encourage you to, because it's your opportunity to ask questions. But if for any reason you can't commit to the live session, it will be added to the academy, and you'll have to complete it on the academy by the 29th of May. So your managers, your RSMs, or your managers, if you're from Inside Sales, will be given a list of all the sessions you've completed and attended, whether it's face-to-face on these, well, I say face-to-face, but online on these sessions, or whether it's via the academy as well. But yeah, the whole point is to get you guys back to business as well, and back up and running, ready to go in June for the launch of this as well. Thanks, Hugo.
Do you want to open for the Q&A, Steve, or?
Yeah, okay. Just go through some of the. On the last webinar, Steve mentioned next day settlement for all business types. Is this really all business types? Yes, for SuperPay, it'll be next day settlement for all businesses. In regards to the instant settlement, I'm not really going to get into that because we're still building that feature. It'll only be start off with a few sectors first. So in regards to the answer to that question, next day settlement, yes, for all business types. I've seen another question up, which was a pretty good question. Expecting a merchant to find a potential large sum of money to pay cancellation when switching in current climate is going to be a challenge. Is there any plans or method in which we can pay for it and reimburse them up front? That's a very good, I actually never thought of that. It's a very good question. I can't answer that right now, and I need to take that back. But it's, if we find that it does have, it is, you mean right across the board, and a lot of shops are saying that, then we might look at that. So can't give that answer now, but we'll definitely potentially look at it.
There's another
Questions about the commissions, guys. I'll be doing the commissions seminar or webinar at the end of the month. But for now, no, commissions will not be changing.
There's a question, Steve, around will the new white next generation smart terminals be available to merchants from June or September? And will the customers have their Ingenico terminals replaced with these, or we have to stick with theirs until the end of the contract? So I can answer this. We'll have.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, thank you. We'll have for sure the new PAX A920 terminals from the beginning of June, but it's likely that some customers will have the new offer also in Ingenico, depending on some variables that we are working on. And so there will be a twofold offering, the PAX A920, the ones I just shared, as well as some Ingenico, but that will happen from June. From September, we are aiming to launch everything with PAX and hopefully a more extended PAX offering, namely with the A80. And regarding the customer thing, no, we are not going to replace current customers' terminals with the new A920. That's a no for June. What happens after, and depending on how the product evolves, it's something that we need to work on, but it's not applicable to current customers, only new business.
There's a couple of questions earlier on the data that I can help answer if that suits now. The first one I saw, Peter Caulfield, market share, what's the breakdown of the traditional sector that I shared, which they make up 56% in our view. That's split by WorldPay around 25%, Barclaycard around 15%. They're the two biggest players in the market. We're next, and then there's Lloyds, Elavon, Global, all around sort of 5 to 7%, and some of those a bit smaller. So that's the rough breakdown of that. One point to make on the market share slides, that as with everything, it's based on a sample of data. So it's an estimate. It's a good estimate. It's based on tens of thousands of businesses that we visited. The definitions of market share change the actual numbers. So the way that we do it, for clarity, is based on a number of merchants measure, rather than trying to factor in the size in terms of revenue of each business. So if we were doing revenue, I suspect that the banks, Barclaycard, Lloyds, etc., will have a higher share because they all deal with some bigger merchants than we do. We base our market share on the number of merchants. We also base it on the business has to have a fixed face-to-face outlet. So we're not measuring a market stall on a Saturday that might have a sum-up machine, for example. They're not our target market. And lastly, we exclude from market share what I describe as major multiples. That's corporate businesses that have over 100 sites. So that's Tesco, Pret a Manger, Costa Coffee, those kind of things. So they're out again because they're not our target market. So hopefully that helps on the market share point. There was a quick one about why do we lag behind satisfaction for disruptors. I highlighted that iZettle, Square, SumUp have a higher overall satisfaction than us. I put that down to lots of things, but two common themes that come out in the feedback. Number one is simplicity. So we do a bloody good job, given that we're effectively selling First Data, Ingenico, different services we're grouping together. It does mean for the customer we have multiple bills, we have a customer service experience where often we need help from one of those third parties to resolve an issue. And also things like PCI are complicated. The disruptors seem to offer or can offer a more simple service, a clearer, more simple, which is exactly what we're planning for SuperPay, as you saw at the end there. And the second one of those two, outside of simplicity, is flexibility. So contract length is a big one for us. If you see our Trustpilot reviews, that would tell you that. So the disruptors are able to offer the rolling contracts like we're offering in the future, and also flexibility in terms of account management. So they make it very, very easy to change details and update things on through their systems, which is why we're building a best-in-class account management system that we don't have currently.
Thank you, John.
Questions. Has the amount of £3,000 exit fee changed? No, that's still the same. We'll pay up to £3,000. Another seller asked, will they be given a terminal to take out to the field as a demo? Potentially, we're looking at it. I doubt every seller will get one. Potentially, we might start with the top communities and work our way back. I don't know. We haven't got to that yet, but we will have an answer by the end of this month. What will be happening to the enterprise deal? Is it coming back? Potentially. That's probably on George and Jan's desk, that question, if I'm being honest, or maybe Steve Jason's. But we haven't addressed that question yet. I'm sure it will at some stage, but we don't know how we're going to do that.
I have a couple here that will be that is important for you, Steve. Is there going to be any sort of disadvantage to customer signing business this month compared to one SuperPay launches and later in the year? That's a tough one, right?
That's a catch-22 that, you mean? So either yes, the customer will be at disadvantage, or two, sandbag. Well, yeah, if I'm being honest with you, yes, if you sign them up this month, they'll not be on SuperPay. So yeah, the answer is yes. You mean they'll be on the payment sense and First Data this month, but if it was to sign them up next month, then they would be in SuperPay. Now, Dojo guys, I want everybody to park Dojo. You mean Dojo's not happening next month? You mean I know Hugo touched on it there, but I mean please do not even mention Dojo at this stage. I mean Dojo is in September. It's 3 or 4 months away. So to answer that question, if you sign up a customer this month, no, you can't offer them SuperPay. SuperPay launches on the 1st of June.
There's another question around PACS have any impact on Connect offering? Yes, indirect impact. On day one, it's only going to be pay at the counter. The pay at the table will not be developed by then. So on day one, yes. What is likely to happen, and that's one of the things that I mentioned, that we could have a dual offering, the Ingenico machines and the PAC machines, is to cover that, for example, those type of situations when someone is interested in having pay at table, etc., and with the Ingenico card machines. So there are still a couple of variables here to be worked on, but from day one, we'll have Connect integrated payments with the new A920 card machines. Another question here around the PACs, if these card machines are unique to us. No, they are not. There are other providers in the UK and in the world that offer. I have a couple here, Valiter, MPOS, there are a couple more that have the A920. From day one in June, because we still don't have the new brand live on the 1st of June, that will be white, but moving forward, our card machines will have kind of a personalization, not only with our brand, but also with some of our color schemes, new color schemes. So from June will be the white one that I just shared with you. That will be similar to what other competitors of ours are doing. Competitors, they are not even competitors, but other players in the market are doing with some of these card machines, but not with the scale that what we are doing.
Question there is about when customers sign up to us, can they get business funding? Yes, we're very much working on front book for business funding. Where you would know, Hugo, where are we with that front book funding?
So we are working on that conversation, and planning will be part of this pitch to have a full pack and a new improved system for business funding with ULand and eventually with other providers. So that's what we are working on. We cannot detail, but it will be available for front book. The variables and the types of businesses, it will depend on how the restrictions lift. The government and the plan. So we are putting everything together. So depending on the scenarios of what happens, only opens by type of business, for how long needs the business to be trading, how were they trading before this situation happens. So we are putting a full map of variables and mapping it. So when we are ready, you guys can go to front book with business lending.
I think there's a webinar on business funding as well, Hugo, next yes. week. So that will be our best answer in there as to what we can do.
Correct. Even if it's not completely defined, like some of the offering that we are putting together, because 1 month, as you know, in this industry is a huge amount of time. So we have plenty of time to improve our offering and to change it slightly in terms of what we're doing.
Guys, you will, there's a lot of questions there. Can they get access to these slides? Yes, you will get access to this. And marketing are putting together all the materials for all this campaign and SuperPay. So everything you've heard here, you're going to get it in much more detail as well.
there are a couple of questions around sign up and offering and that type of things that you will have the chance to have the answers here. The questions that we don't have time to answer all hundreds of questions here. We'll collate those and answer in the next webinars, guys. So I don't know, Steve or John or Sheila, if you have any particular question here that will be important to answer now. But what I'm seeing here is most of these questions will be covered in the next trading sessions.
I'm seeing a lot of these questions you're going to be answered in the next few webinars.
And there is one question here from Alec Florence. So Steve, it'd be good for you to answer this one, but how will back to business work in ROI?
Yeah, so we'll put some sort of campaign for back to business for ROI. Obviously, as you know, SuperPay won't be rolled into ROI immediately, but we are in talks with Altor of coming up with some sort of solution to bring to ROI and potentially even First Data. This lockdown came at a bad time for that because the end goal was with Insight with that, but this lockdown came and sort of delayed everything. But to answer your question, ROI, you haven't been forgotten about. I know this is all sort of UK spiel, but we are looking at putting some sort of solution together for you. That's all really I've got for you at the minute. It's ongoing, but we will put something together for you. Yeah.
Okay, I think we are done here. And on my side, just to say thank you, guys. These last 2 months show how great as a team we are, and we have now 1 month to ramp this up, and we'll do even better what we did in these circumstances. So thank you guys all for your time today. Please join us on the next sessions, and any questions just being L&D, marketing, or directly John, Steve, or myself, or Sheila, or Kieran, and we'll make sure that you have all the things you need in place for the 1st of June.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks all.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.